Hello and welcome to the Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album and track by track. Today everyone is saying hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And we are going to discuss David Bowie's track Everyone Says Hi of his Heathen album from 2002. And we will just jump right into it and have a listen.
And you didn't say hi.
I said hello, I know. Just
Said you took a big trip. They said you moved away. Happened oh so quietly, they say. Shoulda took a picture, something I could keep. Buy a little frame, something cheap for you. Everyone says hi. Said you sailed a big ship. Said you sailed away. Didn't know the right thing to say. I'd love to get a letter. Like to know what's what. Hope the weather's good and it's not too hot for you. Everyone says hi. Everyone says hi. Everyone says don't stay in a sad place where they don't care how you are. Everyone says hi. If the money is lousy, you can always come home. We can do the old things. We can do all the bad things. If the food gets you leery, you can always phone. We could do all the good things. We could do it, we could do it, we could do it. Don't stay in a bad place where they don't care how you are. Everyone says hi. Everyone says hi. Everyone says hi. And the girl next door. And the guy upstairs. Everyone says hi. And your mom and dad. Everyone says hi. And your big fat dog. Everyone says hi.
Everyone says hi. It's a bit different song on the album. It was recorded not along with the other songs, but it was sent to London and treated by a couple of producers over there. So we have a slightly different set of musicians playing on this song, for example. And also maybe musically it has a more, for 2002, modern pop feel, maybe.
Yeah, it does. Well, I'm a bit surprised hearing it now, but it wasn't as bad as I remembered, I have to say, because this is one of the songs, this and the next one I usually skip. So I probably haven't heard this in 20 years, I'd say. So it was much better than I remembered. But I was thinking the whole way that this production dates this song in a way that the other tracks on the album does not. The Visconti production is very timeless and interesting, and this is more immediate, made for radio, but also has a lot of early 2000 VH1 adult middle of the road pop signifiers that roots it in that era, I would say.
It does, but it's not overwhelming the song with it either, I would say. You hear it in the sort of intro theme, which maybe the least favorite part of the song for me. But once we start singing and the different parts of the song, I think for me it's a great song. I like this song.
Yeah, in the end, when the electric guitar comes and it goes a bit heavier and it changes, then it's less 2002.
Musically, it's a mix of quite uplifting, happy type of feeling, but also there's some melancholy in there. And I really like that combination.
The contrast, yeah.
Yeah, the list in the end where even the big fat dog says hi, but it sounds like there's a melancholy sadness in the end, of course, but still I think it's not just that it's dated, but it's a bit, so many things, he throws everything in, or the producers, there's the sonar beeps and there's the doo-wops and there's, all kinds of stuff happening, not throughout, but just here and there. And
well, yeah, but some of it is pretty smart, like the sonar beeps.
Yeah, of course they work.
I think the doo-wops work very well.
Yeah.
It sends the thoughts back to Let's Dance period, maybe. And it's interesting because for Bowie it is a deeply personal song, and I have to admit, up until quite recently actually, and many with me has thought that it is a light-hearted message to either his son or his daughter Alexi, who was very young at the time. And I consider this as an updated version of Kooks, which he wrote for his son, and then this is the song for his daughter. Especially the Everyone Says Hi part, the mailman and the girl upstairs. You can imagine Bowie living in New York in a New York apartment, when he went out, everyone did say hi to his daughter, probably. But what it actually is, it's a meditation on death and bereavement, and it's actually a song to his father, who passed away in the late 60s. And it makes sense when you read when you say you took a big trip. They said you moved away. Happened oh so quietly, they say. That's how it starts. It's very obvious when you know it. and it's a little bit heartbreaking as well. He regrets things that he should have done and love to get a letter.
Yeah, it also
hope the weather's good and
exactly. And it also makes you think a bit about that. Hope the weather's good, that it's not too hot.
Yeah, that's well, that's typical Bowie, light-hearted. Well, not only light-hearted, but the music is more upbeat and the lyric is more downbeat.
And that is we have discussed that before. Obviously, doing this anti-chronologically. So on Reality and Next Day, there are also songs that you have that contrast between happy music, in a way, if we can call it that, upbeat music, and lyrics that is at least much more somber or melancholic or dark. And in a way, you get that here as well. As we mentioned, he did bring in a production team from London for this song, Brian Rawling and Gary Miller, and they added their own elements to it, which is why we have a group of different musicians on this. John Reed, David Clayton, Philip Shepard, and Sula Akimbola, who doesn't play on any of the other tracks. You have Tony Visconti on vocals on this one, or himself also plays keyboards. And guitar, you have the good old Carlos Alomar for the for the last time on David Bowie album, although he did record at least one more song for Reality that was not used on Reality, but on a B-side.
But he must have had his little bit doubts about this song. There's when this album was released, there was Slow Burn. There was the single in some areas, but not in the UK. And then there's this track that was tailored as a single, with some extra production and overdubs in London, and it sounds more commercial than many other tracks. It was released as a single, but I don't think there was a video for this. I'm not sure.
No.
And he put it in, the part of the album where not the first half, but towards the end of the second half, where one usually puts the songs that maybe.
I can't imagine Bowie considering this as a big hit in any way, or it's supposed to be the big hit from the album. But can maybe imagine that because they recorded all the other tracks, or most of the other tracks, already in their studios, were done by September, and then they started mixing and maybe putting it together, and maybe Bowie thought that he should have a song that was a bit more appealing as a single. I don't know. Yeah, why else would he send it to London to have a different production on it?
Make more sense to put it earlier in the album if he really believed this was something to sell it by.
Well, I see that, but also the sequencing of the side A of the album, so to say, is.
I was going to say, where would you put it?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't put it on side. I think side A is perfect.
Maybe Bowie thought that as well, and then it ended up there because of that.
Yeah, so maybe this is some sort of compromise with. I'd hate to say the record company, but the record company here is himself, of course, his own label. So I don't think you can blame.
That would have been the go-to thought, that the record company said, "We want a single."
Yeah, since there was
give us something more.
Different singles leading off, and some, not sure really which horse to bet on.
But it was released as a single. This is the first single that was released in UK, but it's the second single from the album overall. So 16th of September 2002, it came out. It achieved moderate chart success. Number 20 in the UK. Not great, but not too bad either. Reached 83 in Germany. Came out in multiple formats, 6 different versions of the single. There are 3 different versions in UK. There was a radio edit of it. It's about half a minute shorter. And that version came with, or the first version came with Safe and Wood Jackson as the B-sides. Safe is the track that was originally intended for the Rugrats soundtrack. Louis Jackson was recorded for Heathen, but never appeared on the album and was really used there as a B-side.
But I think Safe is a re-recording. It's not.
Yeah.
Mm.
It is. And the second single had the radio edit of the song When the Boys Come Marching Home and Shadow Man. The third one had Baby Loves That Way and You Got a Habit of Leaving. That's the second and third track. And then there was 2 European versions. One that had only the radio edit and Safe. And the other one that in addition had Baby Loves That Way. And the Tony Visconti mix of Sunday. So it's a good mix there of different B-sides, and if you were a fan, you knew and wanted to get these songs and listen to these songs back then, pre-YouTube, and I guess some of them appeared on the internet on non-official. I guess you had to download them at that in those days. But apart from that, if you wanted to get all of them, you would have to buy all these singles. And there was also a 12-inch vinyl promo version where you had a Metro remix of the song. And the Deep Sky or Deep Ski's Space Cowboy remix of I Took a Trip on the Gemini Spaceship. And one of the remixes of Everyone Says Hi appeared in the PlayStation 2 music game called Amplitude. I don't think I ever heard of.
Nope. Me neither. Well, it's interesting it had such a profound life with 6 single versions.
6 different versions. Yeah.
I could never imagine that.
Yeah, they were trying to make this a hit.
Mm.
The song was played 41 times live by Bowie. All of them on the Heathen tour, so he never brought this out for the reality tour. First time, it was early in June 2002 on the recordings for Top of the Pops at BBC. It was also performed that month on TV appearances in Rome and in London, Friday Night with Jonathan Ross, amongst other things. And the last time it was played was 12th of October 2002 in New York, St. Anne's Warehouse. There's also a cover version of this track. I mean, there are cover versions of most of the tracks on the album, but many of them are by relatively unknown artists that do whole albums of Bowie tracks. But this one is a bit more known, and a German electronica artist, a vocalist called Claudia Brücken, that recorded it for the album The Lost Are Found in 2012. She used to play in a band called Propaganda in the 80s, known for an 80s pop song called Jewel.
A dream within a dream.
Mm-hmm. Uplifting musically with sad lyrics, you could say, in a way. Or at least a sad topic.
Yeah, melancholic, as you said.
Yeah. I will not skip it again. I'll give it another listen because I enjoyed it this time.
I'm a bit like you. I also remembered it as one of the tracks that I skip. But lately I haven't. So this has been growing on me.
It's good. What do you think about the track? Have you liked it all the time? Has it grown on you, or do you not like it at all? Leave a comment below if you have an opinion on that. Apart from that, I think we'll just leave it there and say thank you to everyone who was watching us. We will be back with the two last songs on Heathen shortly. We have a podcast where we are discussing this full album and other albums by both Bowie and other artists. We also have a Patreon channel if you like to support us, where you can get early access to all the songs from this album and future albums that we'll do. And of course, the other albums that we've done in the past. Until then, have a nice day and goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you in a near and better future.